So, do you watch porn?
A little bit.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
it's probably like Japanese porn.
Mostly, yeah.
Here's my issue with Japanese porn, okay? I would tend to like it, but so much of it is censored. It's
Uh-huh.
got the pixelated thing. Are you accepting of the pixelated porn or do you find non-pixelated?
It doesn't bother me that much.
Oh gosh, it bothers me. It doesn't bother you. Well, I guess that's fine, but it bothers me. I don't like it. There is non-censored Japanese porn. Now, for those of you who don't know, Japanese porn is often censored, as in the genitals are pixelated.
Which is really weird, right? Yeah, I don't really.
It is because it's still porn. I mean, you still sort of get the gist of it. Are you familiar
Oh,
with a porn star named Mia Khalifa?
no,
Okay,
no.
so she rose to fame maybe 4 or 5 years ago. She did a porn, and her angle was that she was Lebanese and she did porn in a hijab, and it was very not it was very bad. For if you had a certain or if you're
I
Islamic,
see.
it was you frowned upon it greatly,
I see.
and she got death threats, she whatever, but it made a lot of news and it shot her to the top. And it
Mhm,
helps that she's an attractive woman, right? She's
mhm.
an attractive woman. So that all helped. But let's be clear, just being an attractive woman is not going to mean you're a star in porn. There's lots of attractive women in porn. But that whole angle of the forbidden nature of it and the political blowback, that really it garnered news and it shot her to the top. And she
I
was a
mean,
porn star.
that's clever.
It is, but I don't even know that it was planned. But that's why she's so famous. And she shot to the top and she pretty much stopped doing porn right away. But it's okay because she leveraged that notoriety into other things. She tried to get on TV shows, et cetera, et cetera. But now she's kind of out of porn. She tried to get married. That marriage failed. Shocker, I know.
Shocker.
Right? And now she's talking with Emily Ratajkowski, who is not a porn star, but probably in our society as close to a porn star as you can get. She's been on, popular music video, shaking her ass. She's a model, but not one of those models that sort of just walks clothes down a runway. More like the I'm hot kind of model, right?
Does the model have an OnlyFans? Do you know?
No, 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 no. She's too big for that.
Okay.
She's not like that. So they were talking on a podcast, and one of the topics, we'll link it, but one of the thing that we want to talk about is this segment where Mia Khalifa talks about men who like to date younger women and how she thinks that those men are what? Emotionally stunted, they are weak, they need to control a young woman. She's basically just trying to shame men who date younger women. Now,
Do you want
now
me to just
you
read the sentence? Because I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah, why don't you read
well,
the sentence?
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Any guy who goes after a girl significantly younger than them is severely lacking in their life. And I mean that confidence-wise, they're falling short in so many places, and that is the only place they can turn to feel like they have something on the scale of power.
Now, as a man who we won't say where your age is, but you're older than a young person for sure, and you are open to dating people. You're on the market, and you're. I see your Bumble matches. I see your Hinge matches. They are often women who are younger than you.
Oh yeah, much younger.
Significantly younger than you. Let's say 10 years at least, right?
Yeah.
So what is your opinion of this statement that she's making, considering that you are this exact type of man that she is talking about? You're trying to date a younger woman? Well, here's her opinion of you. You're insecure, you're this and that.
Mhm. I think there's an element of truth to it, but on the
Really?
whole, yeah, I probably disagree. Just because
What's the truth part though? What's the truth part? Are
I
you
think
insecure?
I think the truth part is related to confidence because I think, okay, and this is just my opinion. I think a more confident man is more willing to accept a less attractive woman
Really? But why would he even want that woman in the first place?
just because of non-physical
I
attributes
see.
of that
So you're
woman.
talking like a Jeff Bezos.
Um, Jeff Bezos, with the
He's dating a
assumption
woman
that
who's like 48.
yeah,
He could
yeah,
easily he could
yeah,
easily date any 21-year-old hot woman, correct? He's worth 150
right, right.
billion dollars. He could easily do it.
I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like, looks fade, right? And it sort of takes, I don't know, it takes like a relatively enlightened slash, it takes a kind of an enlightened person to accept that, to realize that, and to accept that. And
Right.
at the same time, I think, to act on it, you need a certain amount of confidence as well. I mean,
Well, here's my take on this. I would 100% disagree. I think that these are the last death throw cries of a woman who's aging and doesn't like that the men that she wants are looking at women that are younger and less, quote unquote, let's say, damaged than her, right? Now,
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's a
yeah,
porn
probably.
star. She's a porn star, so literally every woman is less damaged than her. But in the relative scheme of things, let's just say she's using old versus young as a proxy for this damage versus non-damage dynamic, right?
Yeah. Do you know how old she is, or roughly?
Mia
I can't
Khalifa,
tell. Yeah.
she's only like 28, but it's a
That's,
it's
that's
a
that old.
it's a very very veteran 28.
Oh, yeah.
She's a porn star.
Yeah. So if she's looking at guys that are around 28, yeah, those guys are probably
She's looking at
for,
high value men in their 30s, right? That's who
yeah,
she wants. And
yeah.
those men are trying to date women who are 22, 21, 24, and she is reacting to that negatively. That
So,
I just think it's sour grapes.
so you're basically thinking that those men, that it's not a confidence issue. They're just going after these women because these are the best. These are the cream of the crop, basically, right?
They're the cream of the crop. Yeah,
Youthful, attractive, and
right.
pure. And
And
she's basically,
yeah, and I'm
I
not
think,
trying to say that there are no women who are past the age of 24 who are worthwhile or no, of course I'm not saying that. Of course there are plenty of them. But just on average, what will a guy who's the type of guy that she's looking for? She is not looking for your mailman. Like if you have a job at the US Postal Office, but you're a good guy and you're 35, is Mia Khalifa looking for you? And the answer is no. She's looking for a more high status man who makes more money, who has more cachet, who has more clout, whatever. She's looking for those men, but those men are not looking for her. I mean, maybe when she was a 24-year-old, just recently porn star, maybe they can look past the whole porn star thing, but she's still in her prime physically, and they were looking towards her. Sure, then the world was her oyster, but the world is no longer her oyster. That's not to say
yeah.
no men want her. There's plenty of men on this earth who would be happy to have her, I bet you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's attractive.
She's an attractive woman. They would look past the
Yeah.
whole porn star pass, but she doesn't want your mailman, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to denigrate mail. They make good money. It's a good government. It's just like she doesn't want that average guy though, and she's really upset and she resents the fact that these high value men that she wants, they are not considering her anymore, and she just thinks you're just immature.
I mean, I agree with that. I do think it's sour grapes, but I do also think that there is an element of truth, in what she's saying, which is basically that confidence does influence the type of woman that somebody is willing to accept.
I think that's true too. Like if you were super confident in yourself and you happen to fall in love with a woman, like Jeff Bezos fell in love with a 48-year-old woman, right? Although she's attractive, but she's a 48-year-old attractive woman who's clearly not going to be as attractive as a 22-year-old attractive woman, right?
Wait, but is she even as attractive as his ex-wife? They're maybe
Yeah, I would say so.
comparable? I don't know. Would you say
No,
they're
she
comparable?
has, she's like sexier. Anyway, the point is Jeff Bezos didn't get the absolute hottest woman he could. I think that's
Yeah.
because let's be realistic, when you reached a certain age, you cannot even talk. Can you talk to a 20-year-old girl right now about anything?
I mean, in what way? Like I mean, I have interacted with young women around that age, right?
Sure, I can talk to them about what I would like to order for dinner, but I cannot talk to them about
Remember, I had that discussion about, does no mean
I
rape?
can't talk to them
Yeah.
about substantive things at all.
Yeah. So that was substantive, I would say.
I can't. So why would I want to? Why would I want to marry one? Why would I want to have a long-term relationship with one?
Yeah, but I think the maturity level varies widely, probably.
It varies widely, but it's a bell curve
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah,
If it varies, it's still all probably going to be on a bell curve.
yeah.
So when you're thinking of the super educated, super mature 21-year-old woman who's also happens to be hot, whatever, well, it's we're talking about a very small percentage of people. I totally disagree with her. I
It
don't.
actually, it actually even makes me wonder if the kind of the opposite is true, where just like years ago, without let's say pre-internet, you could imagine somebody thinking, oh yeah, obviously, some 20-year-old is going to be far too immature for me to handle. Is it possible that social media, et cetera, has actually made a certain, group of people more mature than they would have been otherwise?
No, I don't think social media makes anybody more mature. I would disagree with
Like
that.
the information is certainly out there, right? Whether they choose to seek it or consume it.
You mean to educate themselves? Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think people do.
It could be that it's just, maybe it has like a polarizing effect, where just the people that seek it just are way, they're way more mature now than they would have been otherwise. And then for the rest, it actually damages their brains and
Possibly. Right.
makes them morons. I don't know.